I'm Raythe from RaytheRain.com, and I write gay vampire, shifter, and fantasy romance. Vampires have always been my crack cocaine when it comes to what I like to read and write. And since I was 12, I was into gay romance. I know, I started early. What can I say? So you can imagine what I felt when I watched, for example, Lost Boys for the first time. I can still hear Kiefer Sutherland crooning Michael in my head to this day. Or when I read Interview with a Vampire and kept rereading all the parts where the male vampires had the hots for one another. But the gay romance was always just a subtext, or happened off the page, or maybe occurred with a side couple. But it was never the main pairing, it was never the focus, because after all, that wasn't commercial, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Only weirdos wanted to actually see or read that. Certainly not straight women or gay men or whomever. Only a few directors and a rare author might sort of, sneak a few things in there. But if you were reading the books or watching the movies just for the gay romance, it was slim pickings or fan fiction all the way. And I was so sick and tired of that. I wanted the sweeping, gothic gorgeousness of Dracula, but with Dracula going after Jonathan Harker. I wanted the cool aesthetic of the Underworld movie series, but with the love pairing to be between two male vampires who kicked and took each other's asses. I wanted the Vampire Diaries to ditch Elena and have Damon and Stefan doing more than giving each other eye fucks. God damn it, I wanted gay vampire romances with all the trimmings and nothing held back. But if I was going to wait for someone else to do that, I'd still be waiting. So that need to scratch my own itch led me to create RaytheRain.com, a membership story site where I've been writing gay romance with a huge focus on vampires since 2010. Which brings us to why I'm talking to you today. I want to introduce you to my newest, biggest, most ambitious gay vampire romance to date called Everdark. Now, we've all been burned by vampire romances that just don't hit those sweet spots before us, or God forbid aren't actually romances. That's happened a lot. Think the last Dracula movie. So it makes sense to tell you what I love about vampires so you can see if we're still on the same page. For me, vampires are above all else sexy, powerful predators who, when they fall in love, don't lose that predatory edge, but instead use it to protect the mortal they've chosen. This dance with darkness between vampire and mortal always asks the mortal in the end, do you want to live forever with me? And the answer is a resounding yes in the stories I write. But I don't just do traditional romances. I'm into world building with lush aesthetics and grand epic stakes. So in Everdark, I wanted the world to be like our modern one, but underneath, so much more to be going on. In Everdark, vampires are real and among us, but with their own society, their own cities, their own special powers, politics, and prejudices. Everdark focuses on 4 characters, 2 very different couples, but the world of vampires, the world of Everdark, is so much bigger than just between them and will they or won't they fall in love. And I hope it will spawn countless other stories on the site. But the key here is that the gay romance between all of them will lead you into this world. The sex and relationships between them are hot and explicit, but the sex always leads the story forward and is not just in there as a kink or as a porn without plot. But I'm ahead of myself. Let's meet the characters. First, we have Damon, an ancient, forgotten vampire king who went into hibernation thousands of years ago because no mortal could withstand the power of his blood. Next, we have a male adventurer named Julian Harrow, a Lara Croft type who is intent on proving vampires exist because he believes they killed his parents. And then we have Julian's best friend, Christian Thorne, who tries to keep Julian's theories on vampires based in real-world facts, but who himself is nursing a wound of another kind. And finally, we have an exiled modern vampire lord named Balthazar Ravenscroft, who is obsessed with Christian from afar, but is just as interested in regaining his place in vampire society. All four of these very different people collide, and the results are huge, not just for them individually, but for vampire and humankind as a whole. And as you can see, the gay romance right there, fully in the center, the core of the story. But you'll get so much more too. But I don't expect you to take my word for it. We have the first 10 chapters, about 48,000 words, for you free to read if you sign up for our mailing list. So go check that out. Link is in the description and see what you think. I love hearing from people, so feel free to leave a comment here or email me about what you thought about Everdark so far. But next episode, we'll get deeper into the world of Everdark that I've mentioned briefly here. And there's so much more after that. Thanks for listening, and talk to you soon.